Good day, everyone. My name is Aurel Campbell. I'm a teacher, a prophet, and interpreter of dreams sent by Yahuwah to the nations. Today, Yahuwah would like me to go over marriage and the commandments regarding marriages, and what we are experiencing today as far as the term goes. Okay, so I will be going over it and what he has shown me regarding marriages, as you all know it today. All right, so I'll be reading the Ten Commandments. I'll go over the term. So let me go over the terms. Let me read the Exodus 20, reading from verse 2. And it states, I am Yahuwah Eloheka, which have brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other Elohim before me. You shall not make unto you any graven images, or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For Yahuwah Eloheka am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and guard my commandments. You shall not take the name of Yahuwah Eloheka in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. Remember the day of the Sabbath to keep it holy. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah Eloheka. In it you shall do no work, nor your son, nor your daughter, your manservant, nor your maid servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is within, and all that is then is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the day of the Sabbath and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Yahuwah Eloheka gives you. You shall not kill. You shall not break wedlock. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not lust after your neighbor's house. You shall not lust after your neighbor's woman, nor his man's servant, nor his maid servant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in your neighbor's. And all the people saw, messed up there. And all the people saw it, the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the shofar and the mountains smoking. And when the people saw it, they were moved and stood far off. So I'll be going over the topic of wedlock. So it states here, you shall not break wedlock. Now, in the King James Version, I'm sorry guys, I'm wiping my face. In the King James Version, I forgot what it says. Thou shalt not commit adultery. I think that's what it says. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Okay? That's what it says. So this is the teaching regarding their ordained spouses, or what you call marriages. The Bible referred to marriage as wedded, as we said, thou shalt not break wedlock, and the spouses as man or woman instead of wife or husbands. these new terms, personally, these are new terms. Personally, I would stay away from wife, husbands, because of the contamination of the LGBTQ community, and also the changes in definition of marriage. So I looked up the definition of marriage as I tried to go as far back in history to show how the definition have changed over time. And you know, so in the book of Genesis, the term marriage was mentioned as the word helper, right? So first, that's where we get the term helper. In Genesis 12, verse 18, it's not, and I'm paraphrasing here, where it states that it's not good for man to be alone. I will make him a help suitable for him. That's in Genesis 2, verses 18, right? So I tried to find the definition, as I stated, for the word marriage, and and the definition I got from was 1250 to 300 AD, and it says marrier means to marry, and maritar means to provide with a husband or wife. And these marital words are Latin, and as you know, English is a derivative of Latin. Maritan means to get married. In many traditions, it's an arrangement between two families without the romance parts, which means, and I have here in a parentheses, without ceremonies, or what we call, you're going to a wedding. Over time, it has become a social stability and moral behavior with a strong religious meaning of two people joining together by God for life, right? And we know that in the Bible it states that you're supposed to be with one man or woman for life, right? In today's definition so I wanted to be very clear here. So in the past, you see the definition includes a man and a woman coming together in a union. All right. So here is today's definition of the word marriage. Today's definition is legally, please take note of the word legally, or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. I shall repeat. Today's definition, which came from the Oxford Dictionary, and I'm using Google here, all right? I should state that most of my research was done on Google, not from the library. So my content will be as much as the information that's correct as much as the information that was provided to me. All right. So the definition is a legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. It does not include man or woman anymore. And then it says here in parentheses, in some jurisdiction, a union between a man and a woman. So you've seen over time the definition of marriage has changed. First, it was just a union between a man and a woman. And then I should have written down here before they changed it again to partners. And then secondly, it became a definition between legally between a man and a woman. It would have been a legally or formally recognized union between a man and a woman. That's what it would have stated. But today it says a legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a relationship. So the definition has changed over the years. So, and I've stated before, for me personally, I would stay away from certain terms, and this is not so as much as to not contaminate the definition of marriage today with what's going on in the world, especially with the LGBTQ plus community and the definition that has been changed over time. Because God, Yahuwah, is against such unions. So therefore, I would stay away from these terms. And before I even go on, before I say that, Yahuwah is against these unions in the LGBTQ plus community. However, for many of you, you can go to a church, a pastor, or somebody that does deliverance, and you can be delivered from such spirits. It is a spirit. It is a spirit. And you can be delivered if you so desired. Okay? But you have to go to the right person that has the connection with Yahuwah to have you delivered. So even including a mother, I know many parents does not want this to happen to their child or children. So they have, I'm telling you that it is a spirit, and you can go to a ordained pastor or somebody that does this type of deliverance, and that can be done. All right? So, as I stated, we need to stay away from such terms as wife, or my husband, or my spouse. Just say my man if a woman, or my woman if a man. So no assumptions can be made. Stay away from the term fiancé. That's one term we should stay away also from. If you have sex with your partner, no, let me change the word partner. If you had sex with a man or a woman, you are wedded. Let's use the word correctly. You are wedded. You are married. He or she is your man or woman. You two are together. As long as you have sex, it's considered wedded. So if you go around, run around and have sex with 10 different man or woman, you are wedded in the spirit to these individuals. Right? This is a teaching that the church does not teach you. Because they bring in the term marriage and states that the pastor and the government has to put you together in order for you to be considered a marriage. Satan knows that if you got this information, then you would be considered married. Can you imagine if in our society today, if we had used this term, so people would have, and then, for example, in the United States where we have all these laws, you got to pay child support. Can you imagine, and if we had used this term and said, listen, I am married to this man or woman because we slept last night. Imagine that we make that claim. Or imagine that, yes, we are married because we slept and we have a child together. Therefore, he or she is my wife or husband. Right? Without having that governmental piece of paper that states that when you can have sex or kiss your wife or husband. Right? So moving on. Let me go and continue with the history. So a vow. Now, it states in the Bible that we should not swear, or, we should stay away from vows. So vow was first recorded in a marriage in 1549. Now let me get back to a vow and regarding that. I don't have that in my notes, but it is brought to my attention. Now, when you are so-called married, you go in front of a pastor and the government, and you cannot, your relationship doesn't seem to be working out well, and you decide to get a divorce, what do? You generally go back to the court system to have an annulment of that marriage, right? But remember, it states in the Bible that whatever you bound on earth, it is also bound in heaven. Therefore, you cannot, and I repeat, for all the followers and doers of the Bible, you cannot go to the courts and get a so-called divorce paper and think that you are divorced. Spiritually, you are not. You have to ask the Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, for an annulment also. He has to release you spiritually from that arrangement that you have made. So a lot of people, because you have made that vow that was bind in earth and in heaven, the court system cannot pull that apart. You're still going to be judged because you have made that vow if you did not go and ask God for forgiveness to remarry someone else. So make that very clear. All right? That, I didn't have that in my notes, but I needed to say that also. Now, also, the exchange of ring dates back 3,000 years ago, between two people in Egypt, as far as I record here. The meaning of ring is believed that it's originated or was popularized by the Roman customs in which wives wore rings attached to a small key indicating their husband's ownership. And I will go over the ownership part here a little later on in God, Yahuwah's ordained spousal relationship. I don't like the term ownership here. No man owns you and no woman owns you. All right, let's stay away from that in a God-ordained relationship. All right, and that was recorded in 1477. It's recorded, with a diamond exchange engagement ring. That's the first recorded engagements. Earlier marriage certificates dates back to the Roman Empire, which required couples to register their marriages with local government. Then in 1639, in the United States, marriage license was first required in the state of Massachusetts, gradually expanding to other jurisdictions. And then in 1913, the U.S. federal government recognized or changed the laws where you must have a license to be considered marriage, right? To be considered married. So you no longer take a woman and call her your wife or call her your woman. It has changed to the term legal, all right? You are now legal. So technically speaking, if you have, and then in today's society, marriage also carries a connotation where it's a societal thing. If you're married, then according to today's society, then it's a good thing. Meaning that if you have the piece of paper and the government documents, it's a good thing. But if you do it the God-ordained way, which simply take a woman and call her your woman, you're looked down on in today's society. But let's go back into the history a little bit. Wasn't it just in 1913 that they passed these laws in the United States? I'm just dealing with the United States for now. So are you trying to tell me, and then the church today looks down if you don't have that piece of paper, and the preaching is that you're not married, you can't have sex with this person because you did not get authorization from the government A and from the church B, from the church, to have sex with this man or woman. Remember, this law was just only passed in 1913. So are you trying to tell me that in today's religious society or Christian society that all of those people are going to go to hell? Since up until 1913, if you do not get a piece of paper stating when you should have sex with your man or woman and when you should kiss them, think about it. Because the church is very adamant about this so-called certificate, the legal stuff. And don't come to me and tell me Romans 13, somewhere around in Romans 13, which that you should follow the law of the land. All right? Because there's another part that goes with that, and it states that you should follow the law of the land if Yahuwah ordained that person to be in charge. Now, the church that's behind all of this ring and legal piece of paper is the Roman Catholic system. They're the ones who are behind this paper system. And I call them the Church of Satan because that's the church that Lucifer actually backed. And again, that's why you see so many statues of people within the church. That's why there are catacombs underneath many of these churches. Catacombs of the dead under many of these churches. Okay? So a little bit of history there. So today you have to get a license from the government to use the word married. If you don't have that piece of legal paper, you are not married, according to this meanings today, right? Hence the term legal. So the church and the government, when you get your piece of paper, they're the one is going to dictate to you when you should kiss your wife and when you should have sex with your wife. Isn't that absurd? Now, there's a beautiful story in the Bible, right? Let me find it here, and I shall read it. And I'm gonna somewhat narrate it, and I'll read some of the stuff here. So now there is I forgot to look up if Tobit is in the regular Holy Bible. I don't really know, but it's in the Sefer. So forgive me if it's not in the Bible. So Tobit or Tobiyahu is a holy man, and he takes care of his family was sent to Nineveh, but to Iraq. Let's say to Iraq, and I'm giving them this information because I know in the Bible, Nineveh is in the city, is one of the cities in Iraq. So I know that it's Iraq, okay? So since I know this information, I can use the word. That's also Babylon. Babylon was, that's the first Babylon, recorded Babylon. So he was exiled into Babylon, all right? And they would kill a lot of the Israelites then. And he's from the tribe of Naphtali, which also the Yahuwah, when I was reading this, also revealed to me. Then the Naphtali would have been someone that would have blended in with the Iraqis. So the Naphtalians, or that group of people, that tribe, would have been able to blend in with the Iraqis. So they're, that group of people. So wherever you find, I never know what the Naphtali, the tribe of Naphtali is or where they're located, but they would look somewhat like Iraqis today. All right, just give you an additional piece of information there. And So yeah, so he was a righteous man, and he had a family, and he would go around bury the dead because they would just kill Israelites, and he would give food to people, anyone that needs it, you know. But based upon this, the book of Tobit, as you say, he also had a son named Tobiyahu, or Tobit, as we know it, and he also has a brother that lives in another city very far away, named Ruel. And they had a daughter also. Ruel has a daughter by the name of Sarah. Now, Tobit, apparently he got blind from a sparrow pooped in his eyes, and he was blinded from that. So now, apparently, he was owed some money by someone else in another city, very far away, and he wanted to collect his money, right? So he told his son to go out in the city and find someone who knows the city and who could escort him to that city to that person to collect the money. So the son went out in the city, found someone, and I'm just telling the story, right? Paraphrasing. So this someone that he found was actually an angel, but it's not the name. I don't remember the name of the person right now, but it was an angel whose name is Raphael. So Raphael went. So the son went to his father and told him, "Yes, I have found someone to take me to the city." Excuse me. And his father said, "Bring him in and let me see if he's a good kindred." So the son went out and called Raphael, who is an angel. They don't know it's an angel, so I'm just using the term right. So he went out and he called Raphael, and Tobit interviewed him, and asked him a few questions, and he answered, well. And he said to him, "Yes, you are a good kindred, so you can take my son to this place in another city to collect the money that's owed to me. And when you come back, I will pay you, what you desire." So now, on their way to let me read that part. Okay, I'm maybe skipping a little bit here because I don't want it to be too long. So why am I going over this? This is just to go over to show you what marriages means in the Bible, or wedded, what it means to be wedded. And I'm also going to show you the timeline of how long it takes to be wedded with someone, unlike today. Okay? All right, so let me go before I read this. So on their journey, there was a river that they had was to cross, and the son was Tobit. The son was he went into the river, and a fish came at him, and the Raphael told him to catch a fish, so he caught the fish, and they roasted the fish, and they saved the heart and the gall and one more organ. I can't remember right now. So they saved it. So the gentleman asked him, "What are these for?" So that's when the story started. So the angel said, so let me start from here. "As for the gall, it is good to anoint a man that has whiteness in his eyes and can be healed." Do you know what the whiteness in the eyes is he's talking about? It's cataract. So the gall of the fish, if you put that in your eyes, according to the Bible here, you can be cured of cataract, right? And when they were come near to Rages, the angel said unto the young man, "Brother, today you shall lodge with Ruel, who is your cousin. He also has one only daughter named Sarah. I will speak for her, that she may be given unto you for a woman. For to you does the right of her appertain, seeing you only are of her kindred, and the maid is fair and wise. Now, when the Bible uses the word fair, it generally means beautiful. All right. Now, therefore, hear me, and I will speak to her father, and when we return from rages, we will celebrate the marriage. For I know that Ruel cannot marry her to another according to the Torah of Moses, but he shall be guilty of death, because the right of inheritance rather appertains to you than to another. Then the young man answered the angel, I have heard, brother Azariah, that this maid has been given to 7 men, who has all died in the marriage chamber. All right, so the young man answered the angel, I heard, brother Azariah, that this maid has been given to 7 men, who has died in the marriage chamber. So now I'm gonna break it here since it's 30 minutes, and I will pick it up from here, make it 2 parts. All right, so it's not too much.